girly besties, welcome to my channel. If you're new, my name is Anna New and I like to make writing content and write books in my spare time. I am very excited for this video, y'all. I'm just so excited. I'm going to be talking about Project.BB, which is a book that I recently have completed. The 16th of June, I finished this book. Yes, I believe so. And I actually did a huge documentary vlog recently, and I uploaded it recently. So go check that out if you haven't already. I show the whole process of me writing this fantasy story from start to finish in around just over 3 months that I was able to revisit this project and write a whole manuscript. It is something that I am very proud of, and I'm just really glad that I was able to do it through studying, because if you guys don't know, I'm in law school, and throughout the vlog you see that I also had exam block, I had my finals, and I still was able to get my word counts done and still able to come out with the book finished. I'll have it linked in the description below if you guys want to check out that vlog. It's 1.5 hours long. It's literally like a documentary styled video. So I hope you guys enjoy that video, and thank you for all the support already on the video. It's already at like 10,000 views, and I only uploaded it a day ago. So that means the world. Thank you. However, I'm very excited to be getting into this long-winded, very chatty, chill video where I'm going to be explaining Project.BB, like the book that I just wrote, and answer some questions that you guys asked me on my Instagram _AnnaNew. Go check me out as well, because I post a lot on there, as well as updates on my stories every single day. So make sure you follow me if you have Instagram. Firstly, before we get into the specific questions that you guys asked me, I want to talk a little bit about some disclaimers or some just general queries that you guys might have. The first question might be why I kept this book from you guys, because I've been writing it for over 3 months and I have not announced the project or anything about it really. But the reason for that is because I hope you guys forgive me a little bit, but I wanted to really focus on my project as it is and not have to share it or give frequent updates, videos, vlogs about it. I just wanted to really focus on my story privately from YouTube, because the tube is amazing. I love it so much. But sometimes I feel like I get a little bit of pressure when I share my stories or share what I'm working on, share my word count and stuff. So instead of making frequent updates and vlogs, I wanted to do it in the background and do a whole documentary vlog. It's also because of the vlog I wanted to do because I've always wanted to see a video on YouTube where an author or a writer goes from, the idea to the end of the book for the first draft. That's what I wanted to do as well, to inspire writers and to just show my whole process in one video, because I feel like it's difficult to know how much effort and time goes into, writing a book when there's multiple vlogs of someone writing a book. And I think it's just all encompassing, and I am very, very proud of that video and proud of this book. So that's the reason why I kept it from you guys. But I'm going to share so much about the project in the coming months. So don't worry. Another general question is, what made me go back to Project.BB? This is a very good question because I need to give you guys some context before I answer it. I started this book, Project.BB, which is nicknamed Blackbirds, literally on my channel. I started this story during grade 12 when I was in my final year of school. I was 17 at the time, and this was the actual first story that I started to write. It is a Robin Hood retelling where the main character, Robin, who's a girl, steals the prince, and that was the general premise that I wanted to write, and I was able to write a lot of it. As a beginner writer who's writing for the first time, I wrote 70,000 words of the manuscript, and I literally just started to write the first chapter one day after school and I just kept writing it. So that meant that I had no plot for this book whatsoever. Therefore, inevitably, I got really confused at the end and could not finish the book because I didn't know what was going to happen. So I kind of shelved that book and decided to move on to some other projects. I've written so many projects over the years since. The one you're probably most familiar with is Project Ghost, which is nicknamed also Ghost Side, that's the title, which is a book I actually wanted to self-publish for a long time. I've been working on it ever since, and I did try to traditionally query this book and get an agent, but that was really unsuccessful. So I decided to pivot and I was quite immature and very angry at the market and at the I was just a little bit of a like a rebellious emo writer. I don't know how to describe it, but I was like, I'm not gonna go traditional publish. Like they don't even know the vision of my book. Like I don't need an agent. I'm just gonna like self-publish my book on Amazon and I'll do it my way. And I was planning to do that for a long time. I started to edit the book, go through drafts, send it to friends. But then it came to the start of this year when I wanted to reconfigure my writing dreams and really understand what my career will be. For the last few years, I've been kind of playing around as a writer. I've been testing new genres. I've written like Project Orchestra, which you guys might know about, which is a historical fiction. I wrote other literary fiction works like Project Prison, like my paranormal story, Ghost Side. And I have also started to write some other projects, fantasy projects specifically. And I was just really confused about what I wanted. For the last like year or so, I've been really trying to figure out what genre I want to write in, my career as an author, and also if I want to traditionally publish or keep going down this road of self-publishing. So that's when I came to an epiphany the start of this year, where literally the night, like the first clip of footage of the vlog is literally the day that I decided to go back to Project.BB. It's insane. But the reason why is because I got inspired and just watched this random video on AuthorTube. It was a video by Sarah Lou Bratt where she just is talking about traditional publishing versus self-publishing. And for some reason that opened my eyes and made me realize like, yeah, I love Ghost Side. I love the idea of giving it to you guys. But it kind of always felt like something in me still wanted to try to traditionally publish and still try to make my dream as a traditional publishing author a reality. And in that video, yeah, she talks just a lot about the pros and cons of each, how long it takes to traditionally publish, which would seem like I would probably get like unmotivated and uninspired to trad pub, but I got inspired. I was like, I want to do that. I want to try. And I don't know what told me, maybe it was God, maybe it was some feeling gut I had, but I just had this feeling of going back to Project.BB and revisiting that first book I ever wrote as a 17-year-old, or at least tried to write. And I felt equipped with all this knowledge. I felt equipped with all this experience of writing these different genres, different plots, that I thought I could actually go back and write this book once and for all. And so I did. Literally that night, I pulled back up my big project, my 70K manuscript, which was so messy. I didn't even know how to format back in the day, where I was just writing chunks and chunks of chapters without paragraphing or anything. So I started to read through that and replot my story essentially. And that's when I started to write that book during April after I plotted for a couple weeks. But the reason why I specifically went back to Project.BB is because I still believed in that project. I still believed it had a good premise. I believed in it and thought it would be a great way to get the attention of hopefully some agents. I kind of noted a little bit about my immaturity. Not to say that self-publishing is immature. It was more so that I was so blindly like, like rebelling against traditional publishing just because I was bitter about how difficult it is. I don't even know how to describe it, but I did as I said, I went through querying with Ghost Side. I didn't get anything back. It was depressing. And I think that's what made me want to rebel against anything to traditionally publishing. But I was ignorant in myself, towards myself, because I still knew at the back of my mind, I still wanted to try. I still wanted to try to get traditionally published. So I kind of just tried to mature a little bit, tried to understand the market. And me being a very business-minded person as well, I have an AuthorTube channel, I do YouTube, I've realized over the coming months that you can't fight the market. You can't fight the fact that writing a book nowadays is not only an art, but a business. So when I looked at Project.BB, I saw potential, I saw tropes, I saw perhaps good synopsis, a good catch, a really compelling plot that I knew, at least I hope I know, I hope, get the attention of readers, of publishers, of agents, etc. So I basically thought that Project.BB was my best bet in essentially going down this traditional publishing path, essentially. which is an interesting reflection, just seeing like, yeah, I felt like Project BB was the book. And even throughout like the years since I shelved that project, I got comments about Project BB. Where was it? Like, what's happening with Project BB? And literally, I don't know what it was. But again, maybe it was you guys, maybe it was God, maybe it was just like something telling me that this book can be the book. And not to say that it will get picked up. I truly hope and believe it will. Like, I am putting this out in the universe. I'm putting this on God, asking him, like, Lord, please. That would be amazing. But if it's not, then I'll continue to write the next book. But again, I just thought it was a compelling, popular type story idea, which I knew I had the capabilities to write. It wasn't too big like my other fantasy stories. It was right in the middle where it could also be a standalone. It just was very attractive for me in seeing how it will be attractive to other people. That is a long-winded discussion, oh my gosh. But I hope that helped give a little context about Project BB, why I returned to it, and why I want to traditionally publish. With that said, those are the general questions and general explanations out of the way. Let's go ahead and go into some more specific questions that you guys asked me on my Instagram, and let's go ahead and get into them. One writer asked, what was your inspiration going into this project? So I love the Robin Hood Disney movie so much. It's one of my favorite Disney movies. And I just love kingdom-esque stories. I love medieval feudal systems. I think it's so interesting, just the history. And a lot of my other projects, like Project CY, which is another fantasy story that I started, planning this year, is set like in the 1500s, and I just love that time. I don't know what it is about it. I just love castles. I love kings and queens and that sort of vibe. Like, that's always something I eat up all the time. This book also was kind of inspired by The Hunger Games for sure, where the main character gives me a lot of Katniss vibes. She is kind of like a cat character, if that makes sense, who is quite like feminine, but also very strong, not headstrong or ignorant, but very smart and just like a really interesting, balanced character, which usually get very annoyed at female characters, even in my own stories. They're very annoying. But when it came to Robin, who's the main character, she is just like so interesting to me. Her psychology is so interesting. What happens to her is so interesting. And how she deals with it is something that I just really wanted to figure out, how she decides and like what she decides to do within the book. Those are a few things that really inspired me to write this story. Someone also asked about the blurb or the specific sort of plot line of Project BB. And of course, I'm not going to tell you guys everything, but I do have a couple lines I want to share with you guys, just to kind of give you more context about what the story is about. I also don't know if it's good to share too much about it. I literally don't know. But if you guys have been, on my channel for ages ago, I actually shared an audiobook of like 3 of the first chapters of my book. A lot of things have changed, albeit, but you guys probably know a lot about this book, more than you should. I'll give you guys a little bit of a synopsis. I hope it doesn't spoil too much, but let's just see. In the cursed kingdom of Elra lives an orphan named Robin, who is a member of the secret sisterhood society, which trains girls like her to thieve from the wealthy to provide for the poor. In the age of fear and an oppressive monarchy, magic has been outlawed. Robin's people have been forced to forget the magic that flows in their blood. Apart from distilling order and hunting this mysterious sisterhood, the king has only one other priority: his son. As Robin is affronted with a new death in the sisterhood, she is one of the last sisters remaining. Between a resurgence of dreams of the mysterious castle and whispers of a royal curse, Robin is determined and desperate to avenge her late friend using all the tools in her toolkit. She has been stealing loaves, pocket watches, her whole life. It was time for her to steal something useful, like a beloved prince. That is as much as I'm going to give you. I want to give you more, but I really don't know how much I should be sharing. So in the story, there's just a lot of magic, a lot of betrayal, a lot of trust, it's kind of like enemies to lovers a little bit, but more like hesitant allies to lovers. It's a story of revolution, of sacrifice, of family, of like a dormant magic system, mysterious storms, apocalyptic events. one of the main scenes of the book is a ball scene. It just like gives all the vibes of like what I would want in a fantasy story. But I'm just really excited for the story. So that's kind of a little bit about my book and the plot. I don't want to share too much, but I hope that helps. Someone also asked, did you have any favorite scenes you enjoyed writing while reviving Project.BB? I really loved writing the end of the book so much because it was very new to me. I didn't know what was going to happen. And it was like lots of things happened in the story, like at the end, like the third act, that I didn't realize would actually happen, where these characters would have to team up, where this character betrayed this character. I'm just like, holy moly, I didn't know this was all going to go down. And literally, like one of the last scenes, probably is one of my favorite scenes because everything comes together. And I remember actually crying when I wrote a couple sentences, and not for the reason I thought. I shared this also in the vlog, the big documentary vlog, where it was the like antagonist I was crying for. And it was just so interesting seeing the motivations of all these different characters and the consequences of their actions and their remorse almost of such actions. And I just thought it was so interesting seeing that pay off and seeing that happen. And it was just so cool to write a couple scenes. Another great question is, what elements did you decide to revamp from my original project, and which elements have stayed the same? That's a really good question. It's really difficult. I feel like most of the vibe has stayed pretty much the same. Some lore has been added, like a lot of history. I'm still kind of figuring out, to be honest, like all the answers. The way that the story starts and the sort of things that have changed mostly include just kind of making it more believable and more set in a fantasy, but also like 1500s, Middle Ages story. In the original story, Robin, who's like Robin Hood, she teaches herself how to steal. And she's just like a self-taught thief, which I thought was really, really cool. But I was like, I kind of want to make it more collaborative. I kind of want to make it more grounded. I want her to be trained by someone. So that's why I came up with like this sisterhood society, whom is like, it's like a secret society in the kingdom, which is under the cover of a particular, thing. I don't want to share too much, but that's something I wanted to make more believable. Where in the original, she kind of trains these random two girls, which are her friends, to like help her thieve, like on the heist. But I just thought that was too unrealistic, and I needed some sort of thing backing her, forcing her into this new sort of state where she needs to do something to avenge and to bring, revolution. Like she needed to be pushed more. There's also so many secrets. I cannot keep track of them. Oh my gosh. Like I was kind of almost getting very restless throughout writing the book, where I'm like, and I think there was a quote in the vlog that I really loved. I was literally like, there are too many mic drops. We need to pick those mics up. Like we need to answer these secrets. Because it's a dual POV book, so it's in the POV of both Robin and Harow, the prince. So then, yeah. There are just so many secrets on both sides, and sometimes you know one secret but not know the other. So it's always interesting, but there are just so many secrets that I'm just like, am I doing too much? Another question which has to do with the previous question is Harow still in Project.BB? Harow, I literally my breath stopped when I read this question because Harow is not in this new draft. But yeah, Harow is not in the book anymore. The reason why is because I kind of merged her with this other character to kind of serve the same plot purpose. But I miss Harow so much. She's literally my favorite, like one of my favorite characters, and I can't believe I didn't realize that it's just been so long since I've read that project, and I didn't realize how much I loved Harow until I read this comment, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And it clearly made like some sort of impact, but Harow was a character that really foiled Robin's own like sense of motherhood almost, and like femininity in caring for another little girl. And I guess that kind of is still the same in the new story, where she has to kind of lead the sisterhood. However, like just seeing that personified in like one character was really just sweet, and just seeing all the scenes that they had together and just like how much, yeah, Robin needed to protect Harlow and wanted to protect her. So sweet, but I'm so sorry. But she's cut out of the book and kind of merged with another character, and I miss her so much. I can't believe I didn't even realize that, but unfortunately, yeah, Harlow's not there anymore. Okay, let's move on because I'm going to get too sad. Next question is, what is my favorite trope in the book? There's definitely a sort of idea that I really love in this story, but I can't explain it without spoiling the whole thing. But it has to do with like family and like taking on the burden of like what your family has done and stuff like that. It's like so interesting just to see that psychology. But I guess a more fun trope would be like hesitant allies to lovers, where Robin needs to come to the realization that the prince is not the enemy she thought he was. And they need to like hesitantly become allies. And it's so funny because the prince is so willing to like go with her, so willing to just like fall in love with her almost. Puppy, you want to say something? But yeah, I just love that trope where, yeah, they have to just like hesitantly become allies, and it's like there's close proximity and just like all that fun stuff that I really love to see. Like Robin, yeah, like see Caro get under Robin's skin, like see the prince kind of do his own thing of just being like innocently like in love, and then Robin being like, what the actual heck are you doing right now? And I think it's like a humorous thing, but also a really fun thing. So that's something that I really love in my story. One question is, how did I come up with the idea? And I was reflecting upon this, and I literally think, as I said, like I just started to write this book. The main idea I had, if you remember somehow, I posted like 3 chapters of an audiobook from this story. But the first sort of chapter got inspired just by this idea of this thief, this girl walking through a dead castle, where like things are just, covered in dust, and it's so quiet and gloomy and shrouded in darkness. I thought that was just such a cool idea, and I wanted to see how that looked like. And I literally just kept writing the story, and it became into like this Robin Hood sort of retelling, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's kind of like the first idea I had, is just like this thief, this girl, far away from her home, her bed where she should be. And instead she's literally like in the belly of the monster, belly of the most dangerous place she could be, which is the royal castle. Another great question is, how did I come up and develop the magic system? Which is such a good question because I'm not the best at world building. I'm not the best at creating magic systems. It's just something that I'm really difficult in because I don't understand logic just generally. So when it comes to like fantasy logic, I'm like, what? I definitely am still trying to explore a little bit. The reason why is because in the book it's very dormant. It's very like sleeping almost, and very in the background until it becomes like almost the undercurrent to everything that caused everything at the start of the book. However, it's kind of based on celestial properties, celestial magic, where the main sort of magic is moon. Like I love the moon. Every night I go out to take Lady out to do a wee wees outside, and I look up and I see the beautiful big moon. And I've always adored the moon, and I've always adored like moon, you know, metaphors, and just the idea of the moon is so beautiful. But the magic system also is underpinned through different stones, which are kind of celestial stones to do with like sky stone. There's like a sunstone, aster stone. There's also what's the last one? Aster stone, sky stone, sunstone, Waterstone, I think it's called. So yeah, there's some other magic systems, but I'm still brainstorming like the lore and the background and the history and how it's influenced the kingdom and other neighboring kingdoms as well. So it's something that's so exciting. So I'm still working on it. I'm not the best, but I just developed it based on the things that I like and things that I thought suit the plot, and also things that I think is just so beautiful to describe, which is like moon, celestial sky, stars, which I think is so beautiful. Someone asks, how long is the project? The project is, Puppy wants to be a part of this. Yeah? She just took a bite of it. The project is 51 chapters, which is 134 words, which is crazy. At the end of the vlog, the documentary vlog, I actually finished at around 96 or 97,000 words, I think. But the next day, I didn't include it in the vlog, but the next day I wasn't happy with how I ended the book. And I kind of was saying, like, at the end of the vlog, like while I was finishing, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want the ending to be like this. This could be a duology. What do I do? So literally I went back the next day and wrote an extra like 4,000 words or something crazy like that. And I ended the book in a slightly different way and just added one more chapter. And it became something that can potentially be a duology, a sequel. So I really don't know. I think that's another question is like, will this be a duology? I need to get more feedback and need to revise a little bit to see if I can maybe just change it back, or if I could just add another few chapters and see where that goes. And I'm waiting for some confirmation, some feedback from my readers that I've sent it to. I've sent this to a few friends now and also someone else. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Someone also asked about the aesthetic of Project BB. I'll have it on the screen, my Pinterest board of everything to do with that. And something that really helped me motivate myself to finish this book is, again, going back to the songs. I'll also maybe put my song playlist of a couple songs that I really love that really represent the story, especially Idea 20. I love that piece. It's so amazing. But yeah, going back to the aesthetic really helped me remember the story, see its potential, and want to finish it. So I love this book so much. I love the aesthetic. I think it's so lovely. And I just love writing about like motifs, metaphors, these different imagery, objects. And I think it's really fun. So that's kind of the aesthetic of Project BB. But I think that's kind of the end of the video now. Thank you so much for watching all the way, and I hope this kind of helped learn more about my project, learn more about my story, my plans for the future as well. I hope to do, again, another video talking about my publishing plans in the next month or so. I'm very excited for this project, and I love it with all my heart. It's my baby. I don't know when I'll revisit Ghostside, but hopefully sometime in the future. I'm not really sure, like, truly what my plans are in terms of going back to particular projects, but I know that this is my priority now, and I think fantasy is something I want to stick to, even though fantasy seems to be a very high saturated market. I still think I can get through. But thank you so much for all the support again in my documentary video. Go watch it. It's linked in the description. Go share it with some writers to get inspired. Comment below. Let me know what you think. And I hope you enjoyed just learning more about Project BB. And just let me know also what you think about my own plans. All your motivation and all your encouraging words mean the world to me. So I'm just really excited to share more about this story, and I hope these answers to all your questions have sufficed. And I'm very excited to just go this new road of traditional publishing, see where it ends up, and hopefully continually learn more about myself and what I want to write and my dreams and the projects and my potential. So I'm just really learning as I go. But anyways, guys, I love you all so much, and I hope to see you in my next writing video, and good luck with that project you're writing. Bye, everyone.